How's it going, powerful people? I'm here in Miami. As you can see, we're sitting outside. There's lights behind us. It's shiny. You know why it's shiny? Because there's spirit. There's light in the room. Today I'm sitting with Kim Cameron, and I'm here to learn more about what she does, how long she's been living in her passion, creating the art that she does create. So Kim, why don't you give us a little introduction about you and what you do?
Sure. I'm a singer and songwriter, and I'm also a book author and a filmmaker. So all of those things are packaged into one. And I'm here at the Miami Book Fair, showing off my Seaper book series, which is a children's series. Chapter books. They're geared towards 4 to 9-year-olds, and they were inspired by a little girl that I met when I was on tour in the Caribbean. And the little girl came up to me during one of my sets, and she and I started talking, and she said she was, her favorite sea creature was an octopus, and I thought that was really curious, because when you think of little girls, you think they like dolphins or they like starfish. Octopus isn't normally one that a little girl would gravitate towards. So I ended up writing this song with my guitar player at the time called Mr. Octopus on the beach the next day, just as a tongue-in-cheek. And he said, we should do something with the song. You should write a story around it. And so I wrote the first book and just kept going. And that's the birth of Seaper.
So it's called Seaper Powers?
Seaper powers. It's like having superpowers, but in the sea.
In the sea. So when you were writing the book, what did you feel was like the underlying message that was reoccurring? Because I can see right now on the table is at least 4 different books there, so 4 versions of it.
We are 5 books strong.
5 book, okay.
And, it's a combination of adventure and some life lessons, as well as some environmental messages into it. So I wanted to create a series that made it still fun to be a kid. So you do have some magic. Kids are talking to fish, and fish are understanding, and they're becoming friends. But you also have what the impact is if our oceans are dirty. That comes out in a very simplistic way, a way that a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old could understand what the impact would be. I don't want anything so heavy that it makes the book not fun. But, the reality is that we do have some things that happen in life. So you do have, in the first book, you do have a barracuda who tries to eat everybody, because that's what barracudas do in the ocean. And so those are sort of important messages that not everything can be a fairy tale. But I also want them to be able to have fun and play with their imagination.
That's awesome. You mentioned that you want to put some information, some education, and something to spark social change in the book, but not too much of it that it caps out the fun. But now we can see there are kids out there like Greta, I can never say her name right, but who's out there who are actively seeking to protect the planet. Do you think that your literary work has a lot impact on kids loving the beauty of life and wanting to treasure it because of that?
I think as long as you keep the messaging simple, then they want to become actively involved. I think if you put too much pressure on young minds, you can either confuse the messaging or you put an undue burden on them that's not fair right now. But, part of my book series is if you become a reader, you are automatically given a membership card to a club that says, keep our oceans clean. Wow. And it's just a pledge. And the club is simple. It just says, if you see trash, you pick it up and throw it away. You tell your other friends never to put any trash in the ocean. And that's the message, right? That those are the only messages that are in that little card. And I think that's enough. I live on the beach, and it frustrates me every time I go running or walking and I see I automatically pick it up. And I'll be picking it up, and 2 feet away from me is somebody sitting there who saw the same thing I did and doesn't feel like they should pick it up. But really, it's those small things that make a big difference, and that's why I want those messages to come out in my books, because I think those little things go a long way. You don't have to, change the complete ozone layer, and if you don't, then you're, nothing, you can't contribute. That's not true. I mean, there are the little things that everybody can do that really contribute to the world.
I mean, I'm going to put it in this way. What you do is you impact a kid's subconscious mind, and some people could go as deep as you impact a kid's soul through your media. Any medium that comes in impacts a kid's soul, and that impact stays with them, and then they go impact the world. So then you can change the world through your art. So that's the beauty of it. And now your art has gotten you to other places, like turning it into a movie. Tell us about that. How cool is that?
It is very cool, and we have a premiere coming up in Miami Beach on December 13th. It's before we take it out. After that, it will go to the normal streaming, Amazons and whatever. But I wanted it because I live in Miami Beach. I wanted it to be in my hometown. So it's very exciting. This has been a year and a half, almost 2-year project for me. I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it. So it's been a labor of love, but I hope people will love it as much as I do.
Where do you want it to go in 5 years or whenever? No time frame on it. Where do you want it to go?
Well, I'm hoping that people love it enough that I'm forced to do every single book into a movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And if you could pick one favorite line from your book, what is that line?
Just starfish it up.
Just starfish it up. And how do people get to experience your work? Where can they follow you and subscribe?
Well, for the book series, they can go to seaperpowers.com. And for music and other kinds of things, they can go to sideeffectsmusic.com. Okay. All right, so thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And thank you for tuning in to this segment here on the Unlimited Power Show. It's amazing to learn about why people create their art, and this is beautiful, isn't it? So create yours. Peace.